Question that we get a lot is regarding linen. So whether to hire it or whether to purchase it. And I mean, we've done both. So we have a nice kind of first person experience on our kind of journey with it. And I would say it's on personal preference, but also on where you are in your kind of SA kind of journey, and location based as well. Obviously, if you're not,
Completely.
if you're not there, then it's a nightmare to have that own linen. So for us, I mean, we initially started with just purchasing it.
Yeah.
So we purchased it. We had 3 properties. I think 4 properties.
We had it for a few, yeah.
Yeah, at least 3 or 4 properties. Definitely 3 or 4. And we started off fine. We started off in winter. We got towards like the rugby nights in Cardiff, or just having extra weekend bookings to decide to pick up. And we did not like it. That was our personal preference.
Yeah, it was
became
intense.
a nightmare. It was Eve or I having to kind of coordinate with the cleaners to drop the linen off. Then we'd have issues with the cleaners not being able to pick it up or wash it properly. We had delays at the laundrettes. It just became an absolute time drag.
Yeah, it was tricky. So when we talk about purchasing the linen, what we're talking about is, you obviously going to like the shop and literally buying all the linen that you need for your beds.
Becoming Dan's favourite customer.
Yeah. And then basically managing and, facilitating the bedding getting cleaned after every changeover. And another thing you have to think about with this is then replenishing the stock. So there's a lot that goes into it. So we did that to start with, and it was a lot of dropping big bags of dirty bedding to the laundrette and hoping that they could get it back in time. And it really is about, if you're going to do it that way, there's a few key tips that we can go into now. So that, we can kind of learn from what we did with that. I think
when you start off, you're going to purchase it. I mean, because to hire the linen, you need the infrastructure, and that's the other way, by the way, is hiring the actual linen. So there's actually 3 different ways you can actually do it. Take that back. You got the obviously purchasing it. You got the cleaners or cleaning team. They're actually providing the linen. Yeah,
which is essentially a hire, but like they're managing it.
Yeah, and then also you have your own linen that you're managing, which is probably the more costly way to set that up. The one that we prefer at scale. But yeah, like I said, Eve will explain this. It's all dependent on where you are and how much time and effort you want to put into it, really.
Yeah, so let's dive into each one and sort of break it down. So hopefully that can help anyone that's going through this decision at the moment.
Or about to get their first unit live.
Yeah, like to make that decision and do what's right. So purchasing the linen and managing it. Let's talk advantages.
What's the advantage then?
It's a lower sort of cost, like you said, to set it up.
I would say initially, it is,
in comparison to hiring yourself, but potentially getting the cleaners to do it is going to work out cheaper because you don't have to purchase it at all, but you're probably going to be spending more per changeover that way around.
Yeah, there's also the other issue of over a long period of time the linen becoming damaged and having to replace this, and this can just start to eat into the profits of this and the revenue. But I think when you have probably a handful of units, 2 or 3, and an infrastructure and cleaning team around, this can work. And it is something that you can make work with the right team. It's kind of outside of your scope, which is a bit of the issue.
Yeah, so I guess we don't have too many advantages for purchasing it. I think
we didn't like it. Did we?
No, it was busy. It's hectic. There's a lot that goes into it. Some people do really like it. Some people feel like they have more control over it, but I actually think there's more room for error. So yeah, that's our opinion on that. But like we said, it's a good place to start, and we do sometimes, we still kind of have spare bedding that we own as well for certain situations. But generally speaking, yeah, it's it would be a massive operation now to think about
It'd be a
the
nightmare.
process.
Yeah, I'm anti it, as you can tell. He's a bit more modest on it. I'm anti on it.
I'm trying to weigh things up in an unbiased way.
If I was to give anyone tips, I would say just definitely look at different ways than managing yourself, because we're all about scalability and growing the business. But I think the other way that I would say is the second best would be getting the cleaning team to provide it, and that's just kind of it's in your turnover. So normally the clean costs £40, and then they're charging £30 for the linen turnover. So you're just charging the guest that. So you're not making profit, you're not losing money. You kind of just you know your exact cost, and then you're kind of happy as day. So it's more of, I would say, the hands off version, which is good.
It's really good if you're not local, right? So benefits to this is there's no cost of entry. If you're not local to your Airbnb, then you've got the advantage of not needing to worry about what's going on with it. There's a lot less time involved. There's no time involved. So you're pretty much sort of just leaving it all to the cleaners. I guess the thing to look out for with this one is making sure the quality is there. I have come across, cleaners that say they do linen and they just take it home and wash it at their house, which in my eyes doesn't really count. When they say they do the linen, I want to know that there's some sort of professional process going into that, so the quality is there. What linen are they providing? Is it good quality? How often are they sort of checking that and maintaining that stock? Is it ironed? Is it crumply? Does it feel scratchy? There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah. I think the important part about this is the benefit is that it's hands off, and if you're remote. I would say the negative of this is, in a market that we're in right now, having cleaning costs reduced is massive for enabling yourself to stand out from the crowd, because part of that revenue management, having the cheapest kind of offering and at a good rate, is that if you get that cleaning cost down, then you're going to stand out compared to someone that's charging 80 or even 100 on a 2-bed, which can be really, really, really important. But again, like I said, it's completely hands off, so it is a really easy way to just not worry about and kind of pass on to the next person.
Totally. So then I guess the third way, which is our favourite.
It's what we do, yeah.
It's what we do, is hiring the linen. So basically that means you're working with a professional sort of linen company, provider, that is providing and maintaining the stock. And you just keep it and you make sure you've got the right stock levels for what you need for your changeovers. I think for this, it's getting your head around those stock levels and working with the right company.
Yeah. We had a nightmare starting you doing this. It's actually really funny because I say this is the preferred way to do it, but it was actually the biggest headache, where we were actually losing a lot of money the early days because we got the wrong provider that was not helping us, just marked up the prices. We had no idea. But now we're with a provider that is really, working with us, and it allows us to keep those costs down. But also we have the infrastructure now. So once you understand it, it's really easy. You have your stock limits that you're kind of keeping up every single week. So we have a storage unit that we're got all our linen in and consumables that we're managing, and that's where our cleaners will pick up the linen and the consumables, bring all the dirty stuff back, and then they'll go off and make the beds, and that way it's in our control. We have a team that's managing it. We have dirty linen or broken linen that's getting thrown out and then getting replaced. So we're not having to worry about going to Dunham and picking up all this stuff. But it's actually a really cost-effective way with the quality at the same time.
Yeah, it is really good quality, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, which allows us to then continue to grow our business while providing a really good service at the same time.
Yeah. Working with someone trustworthy with this, where that the linen that's coming in each week is a good quality, because when you're working at scale, you really, the cleaners do check all the bedding that they put on the beds, but that's, it's a lot to check through and things. So you really do want to feel confident in who you're working with. And then you just want to master your stock levels. So even if you only have a few units and you're going to go down this route, it is possible. Like in the early days, before we had a storage unit, we actually had it delivered individually to a few units, right? So we had it kept in like a garage at one property. And the company was happy to drop it individually.
There's additional costs to having like a an extra drop-off point, which is fine. You just have to pay for the mileage. But what I would also say as well, on if you're going to hire it, is depending on where you are, you might not have this opportunity. But from experience, is try not to go with the big company, because you are just a fish,
a tiny
little fish. And we spend thousands upon thousands upon thousands of money on linen every single month. Okay, we don't want any issues. We don't want anything to go wrong. That's a lot of money for us. That's a lot of linen. For them, some of the big ones, they're dealing with like full hotels. Like they are getting tens upon tens of thousands.
They do a delivery every day that we would have like every month. It's crazy.
Exactly. So
they just don't look after you in the same way, do they?
Yeah, and some of them might. Just from experience, we haven't had the best experience. You always want to be partnered with someone that values you just as much as you value them. And when you're on that, you have perfect synergy and perfect business sense, because they don't want it to screw up, because your account is actually important to them, where we just walked away from these other ones. They didn't even care. We were all tiny fish, and we were spending thousands a month. So, like I said, there are pros and cons to all of these. It all depends on where you are and what your kind of goal is. Do you want to grow to 10, 20, 30, 50, 60, 70, 100 units? Or do you want to just have your 3, 4, or 5 and be as hands-off as possible and self-managing them? It really will dictate where you're at. You may want to be really, like me, tight with numbers and try to make profit on every little dollar that you can. Or you may just go, I don't care about the 30 or 40 pounds per turnover. I just want to drink a beer or go on holiday every year. That is really going to dictate it. But yeah, personal preference, we hire, or I would get the cleaners to do the linen. Try to avoid yourself doing that. You've got better things to do.
Yeah, and I think above all, whatever you do, you want to make sure that the quality is there. As long as the quality is there and you don't run out of stock on your shelves when you've got changeovers, you're fine. At the end of the day, whatever you do, that's what's important. So
clean bed, happy days.
Yes, exactly. So make sure the quality is there, and that means, it's soft, it's not crumpled when it goes on the bed, it's not the cheapest option. The same with the towels, they're fluffy, they feel like a hotel towel. That's what you're aiming for. And also just managing that stock level. So you really don't want to be running out of bedding when you've got changeovers, right? So sometimes there are weeks where we know we've got more changeovers than usual. In Cardiff, for example, that's like a rugby weekend, and we will plan ahead and order in extra linen for those sorts of busy weeks. So yeah, whichever way you're going, manage your stock levels, make sure you've got enough bedding for all the changeovers you've got coming up, and that your bedding looks nice and crisp, and you will be golden.